Y'all, why does wokeness have to ruin everything? Netflix is making a new live-action version of its 2005 hit cartoon series, Avatar: The Last Airbender. But because it's 2024 and everything sucks now, it already seems like wokeness and political correctness are causing the creators to totally botch this remake. I'm gonna break it all down, but first, welcome back to my channel. I'm Polumbo. I cover all the craziest things in our politics, on the internet, and in the LGBT community from a center-right, moderate perspective. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. We crossed 100,000 recently and way sooner than I ever expected, so thank you all so much to those of you who've joined me, and for those of you that watch my videos but aren't subscribed yet, do consider doing so. And don't forget to like and comment with your thoughts as we go along. Now, in case you've never heard of it, and I only watched it a couple years ago, I actually didn't grow up watching it like many of you probably did, here's a Wikipedia summary of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The first season revolves around the protagonist Aang and his friends Katara and Sokka going on a journey to the North Pole to find a waterbending master to teach Aang and Katara. The Fire Nation is waging a seemingly endless imperialist war against the Earth Kingdom and the Water Tribes following the genocide of the air nomads 100 years ago. Aang, the current avatar, must master the four elements, air, water, earth, and fire, to end the war. Along the way, Aang and his friends are chased by various pursuers, the banished Fire Nation Prince Zuko, along with his uncle and former General Iroh, and Admiral Zal of the Fire Navy. So, Sokka, as just mentioned, is one of the show's main characters. One aspect of his character is that, as a naive teenage boy, he's got some crude ideas about masculinity and men, and some sexist attitudes towards women and his sister and the female characters in the show. This will give you an idea.
I knew I should have left you home. Leave it to a girl to screw things up.
You are the most sexist.
Stop bugging her, Airhead. You need to give girls space when they do their sewing.
What does me being a girl have to do with sewing?
Simple. Girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting and stuff like that. It's just the natural order of things. Show yourselves, cowards! Who are you? Where are the men who ambushed us?
There were no men. We ambushed you.
Wait a second, there's no way a bunch of girls took us down. Sorry, ladies, didn't mean to interrupt your dance lesson.
Sorry about yesterday. I didn't know you were friends with the Avatar.
It's all right. I mean, normally I'd hold a grudge, but seeing as you guys are a bunch of girls, I'll make an exception.
Just bend the slurry, woman!
Of course, over the course of the series, Sokka actually gets repeatedly humbled and kind of learns his lesson about these attitudes and develops a more reasonable position on how he views gender. But apparently Netflix thinks that even the mere temporary depiction of problematic things about gender or wrongthink is not allowed or not acceptable in modern media. This important part of Sokka's character is being removed from the live-action version. As Variety reports, Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series is toning down the sexism. We took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy, says Kaya Wentio, who plays Katara. Yeah, totally, adds Ian Osley, who plays Sokka. There are things that were redirected just because it might play a little differently in live action. This does not appear to be going over well with fans. Some of these comments were frankly hilarious. One of them says, "Damn, studios are terrified to even have character development now. It's over, LMAO." Another person said, "Sokka is supposed to be a flawed character who grows throughout the series. I'd say they're being demeaning to viewers by assuming we don't understand the concept of a character flaw, but clearly they themselves don't understand what a character flaw is either." Did we watch the same show? Sokka being sexist was important because he learned to not be that way. Oh boy, I sure love bland as bread characters with no flaws to overcome. Those are definitely the iconic ones who stay with people for years to come. You're telling me one of the best written pieces about growing out of outdated views and learning to accept women has been filtered out and removed. Are you sure you're trying to empower women? So, for once, I agree with the Twitter comments section, because there are so many problems with what Netflix is doing that I hardly know where to begin. For one, it's just kind of pathetic and cowardly and really insulting to the original creators of the show. Studios are genuinely never going to produce anything interesting or meaningful or of actual value if they're so terrified of offending a single person on Twitter somewhere that they remove anything remotely controversial or could possibly upset someone. People this spineless do not belong in art. Period. Secondly, this kind of puts into picture just how incoherent the extreme woke worldview actually is. The original arc of Sokka being sexist and then being humbled and kind of evolving in those views is literally a feminist storyline. It was intended to, and I think frankly it did pretty well, to show audiences, including kids watching the show, that these boorish views don't actually make a lot of sense and aren't always borne out by the real world. It's just hilarious, but it's also sad that by cutting this from the show, they're literally making it less progressive than it was in 2005. It's also going to be more boring. I mean, they're making one of the main characters more static, less dynamic, and less interesting, all while removing part of the show's progressive message. Yet these woke young actors somehow seem to think this is a good thing? Huh? It's bad enough that there's so little original thought or creativity these days that they just constantly are making remakes of everything. But now they literally can't even do remakes without the woke mind virus infecting them and making them worse than the originals. All I can really say is that I hope fans are waking up to this stupid nonsense and are going to start punishing these studios when they do this dumb stuff. If we vote with our wallets and don't give our views to these companies doing this kind of silly thing, they will eventually get the message. What do you think of this whole controversy? Will you watch the remade live-action version? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear all of your thoughts. And thanks for joining me for this video, guys. It's really great to have you. If you're still here, you must have found something interesting or insightful, so please do consider dropping a like and maybe commenting with your thoughts, and maybe even subscribing. My next goal, 150,000, coming right up. Anyway, I'll see you all in my next video, but if you're somehow not sick of me yet, you can go here or here to check out some of my other recent content that you might just enjoy.